Welcome to this course on Introduction to the Python Programming and its Application.
In this lecture, we will going to create the environmental setup in a PyCaret for the classification task.
Till now, we have just taken the data set and we have divided the data set into the training part and the testing part. Now, from here, actual programming start. Okay, this part which we have done is the common for everything, whether you are doing the classification task or a regression task. But now from here, you have to set up the environment, that program you want to do. You have to go for the classification task or you have to go for the regression task. Okay. So since I have to go for the classification task, okay, so I will be using the classification model. So how I can do the classification model? I have a PyCaret, and in that PyCaret, the classification model is available. So I will going to call that classification task. Import, first I have to call from PyCaret. I have to do the classification task. So I have to use a PyCaret dot classification. So you can see that whatever the task I want to do, that tasks are available here: regression, logger, internal distribution, dataset, container, clustering, classification. So I will be using a classification task. PyCaret dot classification import. I want to create the setup first. Okay, so that my setup can be created for the particular environment. Okay, so I will be running this. Then what I want to give my data. Okay, so what is my data? I have to give the data to it, and what are my target for that data. So if you remember that I've been using the iris data, and in that iris data I have got a target variable. So that target variable was my species. Okay, so I have to pass that variable name here. And now I want to create a model, classification model. So I will be using the s underscore model equal to setup. Okay, setup. And now for which setup you want to do, okay, which function you want to use, which data you want to use. So I have already taken the data, so I'm saying, okay, I have a data and I have already given the name as a data only, so I will be writing here data. If you have taken another variable, you can take it. Okay, I have taken that data and I have to create a setup for particular target. Okay, what is my target? Was that my data set was my iris data set, and in that iris data set I have got a target variable whose name was species. So I'm writing here species. Okay, and now if I run this, it will going to install all the setup requirement. Okay, so you can see that it is giving all the detail, that okay, what is my target? My target was the species, my target type was the multi-class. Target mapping, it is done. That means whatever the iris setosa flowers samples are present, it will be represented by the class 0. Iris versicolor, it will be represented by the class 1. Iris virginica, it will be represented by the class 2. Okay, so it, what it has done, it has divided this thing into the classes: class 1 0, class 1, class 2. So three class we have got. What is the original data shape we have got? Original data shape means we are talking about the training of a data. So we have got a 105 is the 105 is the number of rows and 5 columns. Okay, transform data shape. How much transform data shape we have got? We have got 105 comma 5. How many training set shape we have got? Okay, transform train set. Okay, now this is the thing which you have to understand. This was my data, so I have got this 105 data. Now when I'm creating the setup with this train data, because this was my unseen data, this was unseen, so I have got 105 sample. Now what it is doing, it is that data shape which we have given as a train data. Now again it is dividing that train data into the two part. Okay, transform train setup and transform test setup. Okay, so it is dividing this as a transform train setup and transform test. Okay, I'm writing this tr and test. Okay, test setup. So this setup, you can see again, if you go, so what is the 70% of 105? So if you calculate the 70% of 105, it will going to come 73.5. Okay. So what we can say that, okay, we are not, because we cannot divide this data into the this 0.5. So we have to take. So what we will say, okay, we will going to take the 73, okay, as a my transform train set, and remaining will be what, if I go for the 30% of this, okay, it will be coming how much? 30% of 105, it will going to come 31.5. Okay, so here we have taken out 5, so it will be come out to be 32. Okay, so you will going to see that, okay, what we are trying to do, we are trying to do the setup, and the setup say that, okay, we will be having the 73 as a train set and the remaining 32 as a testing. So again, we are creating our model, we are setting up the model, and that model will be again will be using the training and the testing set. Okay, we are not touching that unseen data, because we have not given the unseen data to it. We have given only the training data set, but again it is dividing it. Okay, so numerical features, what are the numerical features? So if you can see that we have got a petal length, petal width, sepal length, sepal width, so it was having a numerical values. Okay, so we have got a numerical values as a 4. Okay, so these are the some of the things which we are using. Then what are the number of folds we are using? Okay, how many times you want that iteration should run? So by default it is saying that fold number we have taken a 10 fold. Okay, so whenever we are running this experiment, okay, so it will going to run 10 times, and then it will going to give the average value of it.